Welcome back to The Hop with Gabe and Steven. We invite you to join us for another great round as we celebrate the coming of Halloween. And we could think of nothing better than the drink than some scary pumpkin beers. We are so excited for you to join us.
Yeah, so Gabe and Steven are back from the Hop, and we have a crazy good Halloween episode coming your way, and it's gonna be a jam-packed one, and we got all the pumpkin beer we could possibly fit in our bodies. So
damn straight.
Hey Gabe.
Hey Steven.
Let's grab a gourd. I feel like...
Okay, all right, I'm back. I'm not possessed anymore. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. There's something in the air here in New York City. All right, let's do it.
I feel like we use the term jam-packed often.
Yes, true.
But this time we really mean it. I'm a little nervous, if I'm going to be very honest with you. We have some... on my end, I have some pretty high alcohol beers to crush through. I got a lot of pumpkin. I sort of, I have a hard time in LA every year looking for pumpkin beer.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm always just looking for just some, not a lot, but just, a little something. And I basically went to every beer store I could think of in LA and got one pumpkin beer at each place, thinking I'll cobble something together. And then I came home and I was like, I have a ton of pumpkin beer now.
Yeah, and I kind of did a similar thing. I went to a couple places, had to grab a couple singles here, a couple 4-packs there because some people didn't have it. But, here we are. We are back. And, we've got a lot of pumpkin beer to drink. 'Tis the season. And yes, I am going to coin that phrase now as opposed to Christmas time. We'll say it again soon, but 'tis the pumpkin beer season. So we are pumped.
Yeah, so this would be a great time for you to check us out at the HO Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. We have, just so many great pumpkin beer pictures coming your way this week. In addition to some great, if I could say so myself, some great content over the weekend. And I don't know if we need to talk about this on the show, but I actually posted an Instagram story with my own phone.
Look at you. I looked at it and I went, oh, wow.
It was.
Look at him. He's learning.
It was a big step for me. So if you are not following the show, you're missing out on that. You could check out our YouTube channel. You could head over there, just search for The Hop on YouTube, click the bell there, and the more subscribers we get, the closer we get to a customizable YouTube URL, and that's all I want for Christmas. You can send us an email. We are thehopod@gmail.com, and you can reach out to us to connect with us, say hi, whatever you need to do, recommend beers, recommend breweries, all that good stuff. If you're a home brewer and you want to be on our show,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm into
Come
that.
through. Yes, absolutely.
Hit us up. And most importantly, wherever you're listening to us right now, is it Spotify? Is it Apple? Is it Google Podcasts? Head over to wherever you're listening to us. Give us a rate and review. Click those 5 stars. It helps the show. It definitely helps us on those platforms. And it also helps us tailor the show to you guys, which is what we really want to do. So help us make the show better for you on all of those platforms. All right. We got a lot coming up. Let's get into the news.
Beer news.
We are kicking things off with a story that was recently picked up by the Washington Post and Newsweek, to name a few outlets. Kind of a follow-up. We've been talking about this can shortage for a while on the show. We've been talking about it back at the start of sort of the COVID-19 madness, and it's kind of turning into a pretty big deal. breweries are starting to really feel the pinch in terms of this aluminum can shortage. It does affect everything that goes in a can. So we're talking about soft drinks and seltzer as well as craft beer. This beer space specifically was about 60% canned and about 30% bottled, apparently, and about 10% was draft and kegs. Well, now because restaurants are closed, the 10% is gone. All of that means that there's more demand for cans. And then you add into it the fact that seltzer has blown up in popularity. People are buying more beer at a time now, so they can kind of stockpile beer and not go out as much. All of this stuff, there's just so many factors that are coming together to cause this aluminum shortage. It is affecting major manufacturers such as Pepsi and Anheuser-Busch. And when you start to see those bigger manufacturers being affected by something like this, it definitely means that the little guys are feeling it tenfold. Of course, those companies were able to basically shore up contracts at the beginning of the summer to continue production. So they have these massive contracts and they've been able to procure aluminum, but that then puts basically more strain on the smaller breweries below them. You are going to see effects from this if you're a beer drinker. We are already starting to see it, and it will come in several ways. Several breweries, such as Odell and Left Hand, have switched back to bottling for some products they used to put in cans. Some breweries are going to focus less on releasing special beers so that they can use their can capital for their more popular and year-round brews. And then some breweries are opting for what I would call bizarre can options. Like I'm seeing more 19-ounce cans. One of the beers I'm drinking today is in like a liter size can. It's just a very odd shape. And you're going to start seeing more of that because there is a shortage of aluminum.
Recycle, ladies and gentlemen, recycle, because especially if you like drinking beer in cans, hopefully with recycling they can make more of that. I don't know if that's a legit fact, but it makes sense in my head. So there you go. Moving right along, apparently Andrew Cuomo drinks beer. The New York governor is coming out with a virtual passport. It's in partnership with the New York State Brewers Association. Thank you, Cuomo. The Empire State Trail Brewery Passport will be available through the New York Craft Beer app. It will encourage New Yorkers to visit more than 200 craft breweries that lie within 10 miles of the Empire State Trail. At each brewery along the trail, you can get a digital check-in on the app. You'll get a stamp. Both of the app's passport programs, the Think New York and Drink New York Passport, and now the Empire State Trail Brewery Passport. The app itself, which is really cool, is the first statewide beer app in the country and is available for both Apple and Android devices. And the app gives craft beer enthusiasts access to a map containing every brewery across New York State. You can search by region and it'll give you directions to the breweries so you don't get lost as you go on your hunts for beer, allowing everyone to build and save a personal tour of selected spots. So now, if you want to hit up a brewery, just open the app and you will find it.
I've never heard of this app. Do you have this app?
No, but I can tell you one thing I'm going to do once this whole shebang is done.
You should download this right now. Follow up to a story from last week. There's a new brewery moving in at Citi Field. We did mention last week that McKellar, New York City is moving out of there. Fountain Beverage Company and EBBS Brewing announced that they will take over the Citi Field taproom, the 10,000 square foot space that was left behind. Fountain Beverage and EBBS Brewing are both co-owned by Bruce Wilpin, whose family currently owns the Mets, apparently trying to sell them, but they own them at the moment. And Fountain Beverage produces CBD seltzer, and then EBBS currently sells their beer through the app Taproom, or Taproom, as we like to call it on the show. It's interesting to me just because this guy, Brett Wilpin, did have an ownership stake in McKellar, New York. And apparently he claimed in an interview last week that it was his decision and not McKellar's to close the brewery. So who knows? But the head brewer, Richie Saunders, who was the head brewer for McKellar, is staying on to operate the space. So apparently the same people are running it. It's just not going to be under the McKellar brand, which is an interesting development in a story we're following here on The Hop.
And finally, to round out the news and notes, Oregon Brewers Guild is releasing a State of Excitement number 3 Harvest IPA. This is something that they've done quite a bit. This will be its third iteration. The Brewers Guild brought together 26 of Oregon's breweries to collaborate on this. They are brewing it at Redmond's Wild Ride Brewing. Christina LaRue, the executive director of the Oregon Brewers Guild, said, "Our original vision for this beer was a fresh hop pale ale to be brewed with fresh Crystal and El Dorado hops. Unfortunately, we had to pivot due to the effect the wildfires had on the harvest schedule, but that's 2020 for you. Damn straight." They are able to access freshly kilned 2020 Centennial hops, though, which led them to the idea of creating a Harvest IPA. It may not be a fresh hop beer, but it's darn close. All the proceeds from the beer are going to benefit the Oregon Brewers Guild and its efforts to protect and promote the state's craft beer industry. So look out for Excitement number 3 Harvest IPA.
Go Oregon. Keep brewing that beer.
Go Ducks.
Sure. Gabe, you ready for the spookiest, scariest toast we've ever had on The Hop?
Oh boy, I am now.
Yeah, get uncomfortable. Get creeped out. I would like to begin this evening with a passage from Halloween, a poem by John Kendrick Bangs. Come forth, ye lass and trousered kid, from prisoned mischief raise the lid, and lift it good and high. Leave grave old wisdom in the lurch, set folly on a lofty perch, nor fear the awesome rod of birch when dawn illumes the sky. 'Tis night for revel, set apart to re-illume the darkened heart and rout the hosts of dole. 'Tis night when goblin, elf, and fay come dancing in their best array to prank and roister on the way and ease the troubled soul. A toast to Halloween. It comes but once a year, but it brings joys aplenty the one night that it's here. Murders, lovers, witches, ghosts appearing from the past. Here's a toast to Halloween, and may its revels last. Cheers.
Ooh, spooky, spooky, spooky.
Let's get them pumpkins out.
Is it bad that the second I heard the music, I was like, this is going to be a long toast?
You know, I just like listening to the music, so I just didn't want to stop.
Yeah. No, that was great.
I really wanted to bust out a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. It just felt right, but my man writes some long poems, okay? I couldn't...
Yeah, we ain't got time for all that.
Listen, Edgar, keep it concise. How about a nice haiku?
Relax, Eddie, all right?
Listen, how about a nice haiku about the lady upstairs? Why don't you?
There we go. There we go. That's what we need.
All right, we got a lot to drink, so let's get into this.
All right. Pumpkin beers. Let's do it.
So we're kicking things off with let's just get this out of the way. Pumpkin beer is, I think, one of the most divisive beer styles that there is. People love pumpkin beer. People hate pumpkin beer, and I think what we wanted to do today was kind of show the diversity of what you can do with this particular spice by adding it to a beer. It does make the beer, quote, a spiced beer, I believe.
Yes.
In terms of the beer judge program. So
you will hear a lot of, I will admit, especially with my beers, a lot of the same, like, okay, it smells like this, it tastes like this, but they're all made pretty differently. And another thing I'll say about pumpkin beer is that I've found that a lot of people who don't like regular beer love pumpkin beer. And I've also found it vice versa. Like, I have a lot of friends that are like, yeah, I don't really drink beer. Like, I don't like, but then it's like you put a pumpkin beer in front of them and they're like, oh, I like this though. So it brings people together.
I think we're kicking things off with one of my sort of year-round favorites. I love this one. It comes around every year. It's the Southern Tier Pumking. It's an Imperial Pumpkin Ale. So we've got a high ABV on this one at 8.6%.
Mm-hmm.
This one is pretty famous for, if you ever get it in a restaurant, you're probably getting a glass rimmed with cinnamon sugar.
Yep.
Which sounds gimmicky, but it is kind of fun. I will admit that.
It sounds gimmicky until you try it and you're like, oh, wait a second. It's an experience with the cinnamon. I don't always go for it, but you got to do it at least once. Every few pumpkin beers, you got to do a little cinnamon, especially with this one.
Is my glass rimmed in cinnamon right now? No. IBUs, we got 30. The SRM chart, it's a nice copper color. It is lighter than you would expect it to be.
Yeah, I have to admit, we've both had this beer many times, but I've never, been able to stare at it through the glass and appreciate it. But now that we're looking at it, yeah, it is a little bit lighter than I thought it was going to be.
Like, we had it around 17 to 20. I would go lighter than that. I
would as well, depending on the glass and the lighting.
And the chart.
I've just got a standard pint glass. You've got a little chalice guy.
I've got a tulip glass, but I mean, I'd say like 9-10. It's like pretty light orange kind of color.
It's got that orangey amber like color, but it's pretty nice.
Beer Advocate has it at 92, Untapped at 3.93.
Oh, I'm so excited. I poured this a little while ago. I'm so excited to drink it. On the head, it looks like we both have a nice head retention, about a centimeter thick, stayed for a while. A little bit of lacing around the sides. My glass is a little full, so I can't tell right now, but
I have a good bit.
Yeah, it looks to be that way.
It looks pretty sticky, and the smell coming off it, I mean, right away, you're getting those pumpkin pie spices. You're getting a lot of cinnamon. You're getting butter and roasted sort of malts and this sort of nutty thing.
I will say a lot of with pumpkin beers, it's obviously you're going to get pumpkin, but more often than not, you get pumpkin pie and pumpkin spice. Like, that is the definitive description of aromas in beers. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin crust, pumpkin spice. And then the fourth thing is pumpkin, actually the taste, but this smells like pumpkin pie.
It does. It's very sweet. It's got all those ginger aromas. It's got the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the clove and allspice and all that kind of stuff. That so it's not like putting your nose into like a pumpkin you're carving. Like, it's not that fresh pumpkin smell. It's more baked pumpkin pie, sweet brown sugar.
Let's have some dessert.
Let's do it.
Yeah, pumpkin pie, man. It's not pumpkin. It's pumpkin pie. It's the pie with the whipped cream, with the scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side, with the spices, with just bringing you all together, making you feel like fall, bundling up. Maybe the fireplace is going. I don't know if it's cold enough for that yet, but oh man.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you said vanilla ice cream, because vanilla is such a strong flavor in this to me.
Oh yeah.
I get a lot of that. I get a lot of, the malty sweetness. But everything you just said, vanilla, cinnamon, it's very sweet up front. But
you said it earlier, but that nutmeg is really strong.
The ginger, but I do think it's pretty well balanced. I mean, as it sits in your mouth, it comes just to the point of being like cloyingly sweet. Like, it's almost on the edge where you're like, all right, that's a little much. And then it sort of opens up, and there's a little bitter, back there.
Oh, yeah.
The hops kind of do their thing.
Do you get creaminess at all? I'm getting like a touch of it. Not a lot, but enough to be like, enough to notice it pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's really rich in the mouth, and it does feel creamy and sweet and boozy, and it is also really dangerous. Like, this is 8.6%.
Yeah, let me tell you, this does not taste like 8.6. This is another dangerous one. Light carbonation, I can now confirm lots of stickiness, lacing on the sides. Head retention's not going away. It's just, and it's another one of those beers where it's like 5 feet away from my face and I can still smell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this beer really, to me, highlights the term yam beer. Because, they refer to pumpkin beers as yam beers. And for some reason, that's what this tastes like to me. It tastes less even like pumpkin pie. It tastes like candied yams. It tastes like those like sweet potatoes that you make with like brown sugar and marshmallows and whatever at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's that level of sweetness. But at the same time, because the ABV is so high, like I had another pumpkin beer recently, which will not be on the show today and shall remain nameless. But that beer represents everything I don't like about pumpkin beer because it was so sweet, but it was also like 4% alcohol. So there was nothing to take the edge. Well, yeah, but I just mean there was nothing to take the edge off of the sweet. Yeah. It was just like this.
There was nothing to balance it. It was like too much.
Yeah, left in my mouth. At the end of it, I felt like I had eaten a piece of like pumpkin pie or something.
Yeah,
or like a cookie. It was just too much.
This has those tastes, but it doesn't like linger that way.
I think it is definitely sweet and it is definitely pumpkin forward. And if you don't like those flavors or you're looking for something bitter or anything like that, stay away because this is going to be.
I want to wrap myself in a blanket and like throw on a Halloween movie. Like this is just putting me in that mood.
It's got ale yeast in there. It's got 2 varieties of hops, 2 varieties of malts. Obviously, the pumpkin and the spices and whatnot. And this beer, we're not going to get too much into the breweries today because we don't have time to profile 6 breweries. For you and for us, really. mostly for your time.
Mostly for you.
But this beer, Southern Tier's out in New York, upstate New York. They're part of the I think it's called Artisanal Brewing Collective or something like that. It's like them and 6 Point and there's one other brewery.
It's under the umbrella.
Yeah. And they have been brewing the Pumking for a very long time. It's very popular and it has come in a whole lot of iterations. You can find this every year. You can find the Warlock Imperial Stout, which is another pumpkin fall beer every year. And you can find a nitro pumpkin, apparently. A nitro carbonated one.
Yep. And
you can find a cold brew coffee pumpkin one.
I almost got that one. I told you. I almost got it to balance us out, but then I was like, no, I want the original. I had to do
honestly.
it. But,
just to see what it's like.
But Steven, they have one other thing. They've got Pumking whiskey now. And I almost can't believe it, but let me tell you something. When I see this on the shelf, I may need to purchase it. 35% alcohol content, 70 proof, all pumpkin, all whiskey, and rich aromas. You can read the description online, but Southern Tier coming through. Thank you. I'm very excited for this. It looks dope. It really does.
Yeah, I didn't even really realize that they were also a distillery. But they are. Who knew?
But they are, yeah. And they have iterations like this, I guess, all the time. For the whiskey, they recommend that you can put it in a cocktail or over ice or shoot it. It's not anything specific. It's just whatever your style is. So I think we should have gotten it. But I learned about this not too long ago. But whiskey.
Maybe on next year's Halloween episode. Let's lay down some final thoughts about the Pumking before we get into even crazier shit.
It's light but sweet. It's simple but creamy. It's pumpkin spice. It's pumpkin pie. It puts me in a specific type of mood, and I feel like no matter what you're drinking, no matter what it is, whether it's beer, whether it's whiskey, whether it's wine, when you're drinking something and it puts you in a specific type of time and place and it makes you feel good, I mean, that's one of the most important things. Southern Tier, well done. Well done. I'm a big fan. For
me, this is one of my go-to pumpkin options that I look for every year to really make me feel like it's fall. I mean,
yeah.
Living in LA, I'm a New Englander at heart, and I always will be, and I love leaves changing color, pumpkin flavored stuff being around, apple cider donuts, all that New Englandy shit. And this just one of these once a year in October makes me feel like, okay, we're making the transition. It's not summer anymore. We're here. And the reason I like this one is because, is it sweet? Yes. Is it definitely pumpkin? Absolutely. But it's, like I said, very well balanced. There's a whole lot else going on to take your mind off the pumpkin, so you're not just sitting in it the whole time. It's complex, it's intense, it's an experience. It's not crushable.
No.
For several reasons. One, the ABV, and two, just the flavor. It would be so much.
Yeah.
But it's a really good dessert beer, and it's got a lot going for it. So it's a good way to kick it off.
Absolutely. Also, shout out to the little Pumpkin King logo they got with the little pumpkin guy. He's
the little pumpkin man.
He's the man, and we should all respect him. But yeah, that's one down. Let's keep this train moving.
One down. Let's see what else pumpkin can do.
Beer number 2. Let's get right into it. I'm going to take the reins here. I am paying a trip to Baltimore, Maryland to visit Duclaw Brewing Company. I am drinking there. It is called 31. It is a pumpkin spiced lager. It is a German style lager, if you will. Coming in at 5.7%. We're looking at 27 IBUs. On the SRM chart, it's a little bit darker than the last guy.
Ooh, yeah.
It's definitely very, depending on the light, like reddish, but it's definitely got that dark orange glow
Looks
to
like
it.
Iced tea.
It kind of does. From my perspective, it's a little more red, but yes, it does look very iced tea like. I would put this in the definitely in the 20 range. Again, kind of depends on the light and what chart you're looking at, but definitely up in the 20s. Beer Advocate gave it an 81. Untapped has yet to review it. From the brewery, they take their classic Munich Dunkel and added seasonal spices to create a new fall favorite, amber in color and medium bodied. It indulges your senses with its smooth, malty palate and fall spices for a refreshing finish, all treat and no trick. And I just want to really quickly mention a sentence this is from a real reviewer that I found online. This is a medium body whore of a beer. You're going to like it and come back for more.
I'm telling you, man, pumpkin beers with the beer reviewers, like I saw some that were like, what the fuck is this? And I saw some that were like, this is my favorite beer ever. Like
it's definitely back and forth. But we're here for it. So let's give it a whiff. Okay, pumpkin, obviously.
You don't say. Well, I'm intrigued about this though, because typically with pumpkin, you're going on the ale side of things, and you're more in the German like lager sort of world.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that malty sort of biscuity thing mixed with the pumpkin.
And that's exactly what I'm getting. Very, very, not very, very, but yeasty. I'm getting the yeast backbone to it. I'm getting all of the classics for pumpkin. I'm getting cinnamon. I'm getting the nutmeg. But yeah, it's weird. It's like cinnamon and nutmeg, and then maltiness is right behind it with the yeast, and then the pumpkin very quickly, kind of all in one smell.
All treat and no trick.
Okay, so this is... Wow. Oh, I'm so glad we picked all different pumpkin beers that are different because I have to be honest, this is a complete 180 to the Southern Tier. This is not really that sweet. It's not, I don't get pumpkin pie. I'm not getting, 'tis the season. I'm getting a flavored lager. I'm getting a pumpkin flavored lager, and this isn't a bad thing, but I'm not necessarily getting like fall season. It's time for pumpkin beers. I feel like, okay, so this is what I'll say. With the Southern Tier, I felt like it's like you can only drink that during October or early November. But with this, like if somebody handed this to me in December, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is good. I like this. I'll drink this. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's seasonal, but it's a little expanded, if you will. I mean, it's not really punching you in the mouth with pumpkin. It's got those flavors and those notes and the maltness, the sweetness, like I said, the cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, that it definitely follows the nose, but it's more, I think because it's a lager and because it's more focused on the yeastiness, it's more in that direction rather than, pumpkin, but like pumpkin is not the star of the show. And I kind of love that. Pumpkin is the sidekick to the rich sweetness of the lager.
Yeah, I think that's actually great because it's just like you said, it's a completely different side of what pumpkin can do. And like pumpkin, in terms of the Southern Tier, we talked about the sweetness, we talked about the pumpkin pie, but pumpkin is also part of a sort of harvest.
Right.
A flavor, a sort of spice, fall harvest flavor that we associate with a much broader period of time than just like, oh, this is like a Thanksgiving dessert beer. It's like,
right.
No, that could include, like you're saying, like the spiciness, the yeastiness, malty lagers. I mean, I would argue, could easily fit into an Oktoberfest situation with the beers, the sort of just sweet malty lagers. And pumpkin fits right into that flavor profile if it's used in the way that you're describing it, as opposed to the way Southern Tier uses it.
Yeah, I feel like Southern Tier makes it more of, like I said, there's no other way to describe it. They made it the star of the show. Pumpkin is not the star of the show for this beer, and that is quite all right. You are not missing out on anything. It doesn't compromise at all. It's made with Goldings hops. The malts are Munich, Cara, Aroma, and wheat. It's very interesting. It's a complete 180 to the Southern Tier, and I love that. I love everything about that. Yeah. It's not as sweet. It's a little more bready, and it's noted as a pumpkin spiced lager, first brewed in 2008 as a Halloween one-off release, and then it eventually came back. When I will admit, when I first bought the beer, I said, I wonder why it's called 31. And then I looked at a calendar, Gabe.
All right, I'm going to jump in here with my second offering, which is the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin, which is a special release or spicy release, as it were. I have no idea what to expect from this beer. It's brewed apparently with peppers in the batch. It's a 6.4% ABV. IBUs, we're looking at 10. It's got an 86 on Beer Advocate. Untapped has it at 3.62. I've got it in a pint glass here. On the SRM chart, I am looking at gold. I mean, more gold than the last one. Like, this one looks like a German Pilsner almost.
Interesting.
I'm putting it around an 8 on the SRM chart, I would say. The brewer describes it as perfectly positioned to capture the fall beer drinker who wants more than just an ordinary pumpkin or Oktoberfest beer. Makes me feel like it might kind of fall into the realm of close to what you were just drinking.
Yeah.
But I do have plenty of factoids on this one, thanks to New Belgium's excellent website. The yeast is ale yeast. The hops are nugget hops. Nugget. The malts are pale, Munich, and caramel 120, sorry. And then the fruits and spices in here, we have pumpkin juice, we have Saigon cinnamon, we have habanero, ají, and Del Arbol peppers.
Wow.
So just reading that, again, they didn't use pumpkin pie spice. They didn't use pumpkin mash. They used pumpkin juice and peppers. So yeah, here we go. If you are interested in New Belgium, this makes my job really easy. You can go back and listen to round 22 of The Hop when we featured a whole episode on New Belgium and their kick-ass female head brewer there and everything they have going on in Colorado. Great brewery.
Go get a bike.
All right, so it looks like a Pilsner in the glass. Lots of carbonation, lots of bubbles coming up, no head retention, no real lacing. The nose, I do get some cinnamon. I do get some clove. I would say it's much more bitter than the last one we were smelling. Like, I'm not smelling all of that pumpkin pie, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not smelling all of that sweetness. I'm smelling malts for sure. Bready. And I want to say I'm smelling a little bit of those peppers. Like, just a little. There's something like a little bitter and sweet in the back there that's like, ooh.
I'm so interested in that. A pumpkin beer and you made it with habanero peppers? Like, damn.
Whoa.
It's not like spicy, is it?
So, yeah, it is.
Oh.
All right, it's not that red hot beer from Two Roads that we had that like just shot spice down your body. But the first thing that goes into your mouth, I've talked before on the show how the first taste you're going to get on the front of your tongue is sweet, right? So I do get sweet. Like, the first sip was kind of like, oh wow, that's surprisingly similar to the Pumking. But then it hits the middle of your palate and it expands and it opens up, and no way. It definitely has a lot more bitterness. It has a lot more maltiness. It's got a lot more sort of traditional beer, what I would call like what you would associate with like a German lager flavor opening up in there.
Interesting.
There's a little bit of yeastiness, definitely cinnamon and allspice come through. Definitely biscuity, crackery malts. Okay. And then the heat is in the back. So you swallow it and you feel it like on the back of your tongue, almost in your throat. That's where you get the heat and the spiciness. It's just enough to give you a little zing. It's just enough to let you know it's there. It's not unpleasant in any way. It's just like reminding me there's some Schofield in this beer. That's what they call that, right? The
Schofield, yeah. Alton Brown would be impressed.
Thank you. And the funny thing is, the back end, like what lingers in my mouth now that I've had the beer and I'm not drinking it at the moment, is vanilla. It's just like pure vanilla. Like, I just had a vanilla latte. Like, that's what's lingering in there.
Nice.
It's just like the sweetness kind of tapered out into this very pleasant vanilla thing. In the mouth, it's medium bodied, not very boozy. The main thing that hits you in the mouth is that heat. This is just fun,
right?
What fun!
It's
to have a pumpkin beer with peppers in it.
It is called Atomic Pumpkin, so it kind of makes sense now. Like, when you read the title, I was like, yeah, Voodoo Ranger, whatever. Now I get it. Habanero, wow.
That's what I'm saying. I've had Voodoo Rangers. I've had so many variations of Voodoo Rangers, and like,
yeah,
I was like, I don't know, but first of all, it should say on this can that there's peppers in this, and it doesn't. And I think that's that's very. Oh, it does say it on the back.
Warning.
Brewed with chilies in tiny, tiny letters.
Warning, don't be a bitch.
I mean, it does say on the front, spicy release. Like, it's,
there you go.
And that it is, all right, the vibe I'm getting off this is like, yeah, fuck it. We're making pumpkin beer. Let's have fun with it. Like, yeah, we're doing it, damn it. And they did. And it's just weird. I don't know that, like, I don't know that it's like something I need to have a 6-pack of. I don't know that it's something I would just sit here like, it's not my favorite beer, but it's an experience to be sure.
I'm sure,
and
yeah.
it tastes good. I guess I'm just not sure why. Why did you have to put chilies in the pumpkin?
Because of what you just said. They were like, all right, well, I don't know. What do we got lying
what
around?
else can we throw in
What's
here?
in the cupboard, Nana? We got some chilies. Throw those in there.
Kim, we made a pumpkin beer. No, hear us out.
Yeah. She was like, all right, well, if it sells, whatever.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one threw me for a loop. I'm going to be sipping on this for a while, and I feel like I just ate a spicy wing. And now that heat is starting to linger a little bit. But I really do like it. If for no other reason, just because of what I just said. It's fun. It's like we're doing a pumpkin beer episode. It's the holidays. Let's get wild.
That's
Let's
what I'm
get weird.
saying. Like, we don't want just beers that it's like, oh yeah, it's pumpkin spice. I love it. Like, no, we want something that's weird. Like, German style lager, sure. Pumpkin beer made with chili peppers, I'm sold.
We have one more.
One more each. Stick with us, ladies and gents. We're almost there.
The final one in our pumpkin journey.
Let's do it. All right, home stretch. Here we go. I was in New York, then I was in Maryland. Now I'm going to Wisconsin, and this brewery is located in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
What?
Bang! Exclamation point!
Steven, I'm at your point in Wisconsin, and it makes sense because you're a Packers fan.
Yeah, and we won this week. And since we're on the subject, we don't have to talk about this for long. But our fantasy football teams did play each other this weekend. Gabe, who won?
You won. I will give credit where credit is due. You won.
Exclamation point!
That's right, I did.
He's for basketball. Get it right. You won. It was close. Robert Woods did not come through with only 5.5 points, but
he definitely didn't. Yeah, and somehow I managed to eke it out despite Jarek McKinnon's negative 0.1 performance. Anywho, you're drinking a beer from Wisconsin. Go Pack. Go.
Oh, God, I love it. Chargers also won. Anyway, I am drinking the Whole Hog Brewing Pumpkin Ale. It is their signature pumpkin ale brewed with pumpkin and spices. Go figure. This one is a fun 7% ABV. IBUs, we're looking at about 38 on the SRM chart. It's more, okay, so this one is the middle child of the first two beers I had. The Southern Tier, which was very light. The 31, which is a little dark. This one is like medium dark. Again, a little less reddish, but more on the dark amber orangey side, back in the 20s for the SRM chart. My favorite part about this beer so far is they're going to be the reviews. You ready for this? This doesn't happen a lot. Beer Advocate, 92. Untapped, 4.0.
Wow, we cracked the 3.99 surface.
We got there with this beer, so I have high hopes. This is their signature pumpkin beer, and apparently it does pretty well because it's got awards on awards. We're looking at 2012 gold medal, Great American Beer Festival, bronze in 2014, gold in 2015 for Paste Magazine, gold for 2015 European Beer Star, 2018 and 2019 Great American Beer Festival, silver and gold. I mean, this has done well. So let's get into it. Very tiny head retention, kind of went away, pretty quickly, but it's still a little white at the top. Some lacing, not a lot, a little bit of stickiness, no big deal. On the nose, it's a little bit sweetness, but it's not as much as Southern Tier, but it's a little bit more than the 31. I'm definitely getting pie crust, pumpkin spice. I'm getting, the classics, the cinnamon, the clove, the nutmeg, maybe a little brown sugar. Definitely pie crust is a big one. I read that online a lot, and I will agree 100%. Down the hatch.
Yeah, pie crust makes sense because you're probably also getting the malty sort of breadiness from the malts that are in there. You're drinking now, just a pumpkin ale. This is not an imperial ale. It's not a lager like the last one was. So you're doing the purest form of the pumpkin ale you can right now.
Oh, there's a smile on my face. Cinnamon is the star of this one, and it's not too much. It's balanced really well. Definitely pumpkin pie rather than pumpkin on its own. This is definitely putting me back to what I said earlier about the Southern Tier,
I'm going to go ahead and assume the Dodgers just won the World Series.
Hey!
Based on those fireworks.
Congrats to the Dodgers. Good for you guys. So yeah, cinnamon is the star of this show, but it's balanced really well. It's definitely very similar to the Southern Tier in the sense that it's putting me back in that place of wanting to just kind of like curl up with a blanket. It's fall, throw on a Halloween movie. Wow, I don't know what I was expecting, but it's very sweet, but it's spicy at the same time. It's got that like just a general ale flavor to it, but it's got all the spiciness to it. There's some malts. I can't tell too much, but I'm getting a little bit of it. I'm getting, like I said, more of the pumpkin spice and the pumpkin pie. It's 7%. I wouldn't say it's dangerous, but it's also not crushable either. It's got light carbonation to it, so it'll make you definitely think about it. But I mean, it's just packed with flavor, and it's just like this would go great with any sort of dessert. I mean, if you just honestly, you know what this would be dope as? Like a float. If you like threw in like a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
That sounds really good. I'd like to do that with the Southern Tier too, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah, I just, man, the spiciness is just so, it's almost as if, okay, this is the type of beer that like the people at Whole Hog definitely took their time to master the amount of spice they had to put in this. They definitely tried over and over and over again and got it right, because it's not too much, it's not too little, it's like just there. It's like, oh, it's just like just what I need. So hot damn. Whole Hog out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. They've got quite a lot of other things, but this one is definitely one of their favorites by a lot of people. Man, nothing more needs to be said on my end.
All right, so I have, first of all, if I sound like I'm in a war zone right now, I apologize to the listeners. There's nothing much I can do about it, but hopefully it isn't too much, but I don't know what to tell you. The Dodgers won the World Series. I am drinking the YETI from Great Divide Brewing, and I really feel like I saved the big behemoth for last, literally and figuratively. It's a imperial stout. Their YETI is an imperial stout, and this is a pumpkin spice version of that. It's 9.5% ABV. It's a 40 plus on the SRM chart. It's just jet black. Beer Advocate has it at 92. Untapped has it at 3.89. Great Divide Brewing is out of Colorado. They are an independently owned brewery that started in 1994, and they've been independently owned and operated ever since.
It sounds like somebody's knocking at your door. That's what's funny to me. It sounds like you're ignoring like the postman or something.
I don't know what to do about it.
Must be fun to be there.
All right. I'm drinking out of like a flute, if you will. It had a dense tan head with very nice retention. Got some good lacing going on. It looks sticky. It looks like a chocolate milkshake or something. It looks intense. It looks more intense than like a Guinness. It looks and feels just like it's like I'm in for a ride. Now, on the nose, what I'm getting is coffee. I'm getting chocolate. You know, what you'd expect off an imperial stout or a Russian imperial stout. I'm not getting a lot of pumpkin. There's a sweetness there. And I guess, you know, it's the sweetness you would anticipate. Like you normally on a imperial stout like this would get like vanilla, right? Or like tiramisu or something like that. And I do get that. So maybe there's some pumpkin tied into that, but mostly I get coffee, I get espresso, I get chocolate, I get maybe some cinnamon. Not a lot of fruit, but a lot of roasted malts.
Interesting.
Whew. It's wild the things you can do with a pumpkin, man. It's really unreal. The taste is rich, dark malt, very, very creamy and rich in the mouth, full-bodied. Of course, chocolate and caramel, like I said before, and coffee for sure. You're getting, I don't want to call it a hoppiness, but a bitterness for sure. Like I'd say espresso or tobacco or something like that. As for the pumpkin pie spice, it's there. It hits late, and it's kind of there in the back end. It kind of lingers more than the rest of it does. Like, you take it in, you first get some chocolate and all those like bitter but sweet flavors, and then the back of your mouth sort of lights up with the roasted malt. And then once you swallow it, the lingering thing that you're left over with is like sweetness, which I would describe as pumpkin. But I mean, if you didn't tell me there was pumpkin in this, I don't know that I would pick out that. I definitely don't get the kind of pumpkin I got off the Pumking. I don't get a whole lot of like pumpkin pie spice. I do get like ginger. I do get like nutmeg and allspice. I get all those things on their own. I just don't know that they're like come together and go, oh, pumpkin. Like it's like you were saying with the last one. The pumpkin isn't the star of this. It's a fucking kick-ass imperial stout, but the pumpkin isn't the star of it.
It looks like a kick-ass imperial stout too.
It's very good. It's a monster of a beer, if you will. You see what I did? Because it's called a YETI, and the YETI is and it's Halloween, and so okay. From the brewery, when the air gets crisper and the foliage turns brilliant shades of red and orange, the YETI yens for a libation that captures the quintessential flavors of fall. Rich and roasty with added layers of decadent sweetness, Pumpkin Spice YETI is brewed with seasonal spices and a unique selection of coffee from our friends at Pablo's Coffee. Pairs perfectly with hay rides, pumpkin carving, and leaf peeping. What's leaf peeping?
Leaf peeping?
That's what it says.
Yo, peep them leaves, bruh.
And they have a food pairing of Halloween candy. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know why I love that so much. It's great.
I get what they're saying, but I don't know that's you're not going to want a candy when you're eating this.
It pairs well with Snickers, no big deal.
Great Divide Brewery is sort of the one brewery out of my breweries that I feel like I'm giving short shrift to by not talking about them, but future episode of the show, great brewery, lots of brews. Like I said, been doing it since the early 90s. And they currently have a homebrew contest going on. So if you're a home brewer and you want to get involved in that, especially in the Colorado area, hit them up. You can check out their website for more information and apply for the Great Divide Homebrew Contest. Maybe you'll see your beer featured there next year.
All right. Favorite beer?
All right. So I'm going to do it two ways.
Yeah, put them in order. Put them in order.
I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to do, in terms of a pumpkin, okay, Steven, it's October. He needs to have a beer to celebrate pumpkin. Pumking, Atomic, and then this Imperial Stout. In terms of just like, I need a good beer to kick back on whatever, just in general, Imperial Stout, Pumking, and then the New Belgium. Just that pepper it's fucking weird, but really good, really fun. Just nice. Bizarre.
I am gonna go with Whole Hog, Pumking, 31. I loved them all, but that Whole Hog, man, I don't know why, but I just wasn't expecting it to be that good, and it just knocked my socks off. It was so great.
That's great, and that's like I said before, that's a straight pumpkin ale. No twists or turns on that one. It's just a
no bullshit. Just pumpkin ale. and I feel very buzzed, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, I have a lot of beer to drink over here. So real quick, we're just going to give this 5 minutes tops because I'm literally under siege right now. But we do have a fun topic this week. And
yes, we do.
Here's the deal. I don't know. I love Gordon Ramsay, and I don't know if he's been doing this for years and I just never knew about it, or if this is new because of the pandemic and he has nothing better to do. I don't know. But Gordon Ramsay has been doing this thing where he like reviews people as they cook things on TikTok, and it's hilarious. And take a listen.
Shirtless chef boy.
And that is how you make British fish and chips.
You've never been to Britain performing acupuncture on a chicken. You're supposed to cook it, not prick it. Colin,
Right.
you're such a bell end.
I ate both of them. Yeah, I'm fat.
Lamb burgers. Okay, good.
Let me make you a
The
lamb
toughest burger on the planet to
Start
get
off
right.
with some beautiful
Lemon juice,
sausage, some
good.
crumbled
Feta,
feta cheese,
delicious. Nice and
some
salty.
fresh mint,
Good fresh mint.
a beautiful pinch of
No, you
salt.
don't put
Now
salt on
mix.
top of feta.
Now
It's
after a
already
couple minutes with the
salty.
burger,
Final
Come on,
product.
slice it.
Mr. Ramsay,
The
this is
lamb's
to
raw.
perfection. Now, bismillah.
Where's the lamb sword? Flavor train, let's jump on board and ride with you, big boy. No, don't prick it. All the juices will flow out. You should know your brisket by now, big boy. Don't squeeze too hard. Oh, you're squeezing all the juice out, man.
You see that?
Big chunk. The train's gone dry, man.
2 hours in, we're adding some carrots.
Oh, carrots. They're going to be delicious, by the way. Show me the beef.
Short rib,
Oh,
3 quenelle,
wow.
a mash,
Now you're
and some
talking.
little
What you've done with the
curls.
mash. Why are you playing
No
Connect Four with those carrots? Where are the original carrots that cooked for 2.5 hours? The carrots with the flavor, you donut.
For the love of God, please blow this post.
Show me your carrots.
Oh, I love you and I'm out.
Oh my God, I just can't even explain to you how obsessed with that
Show
I
me
am.
your carrots. Oh my god. Yeah, so people have been making videos of them cooking things, and he's been what it's called on TikTok is duetting. He's been making a duet, which basically means he's side by side and he's reviewing it, and it's just
He's
the most
essentially
hilarious
roasting
thing
them.
in the world. Yeah, it's so funny because the people like really. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or if they're just don't know how to cook, and he's just like, oh no, you donut, what are you doing?
Well, some of the videos like are insane. Like I saw one where a guy was breading mozzarella sticks with like
Fruit Loops.
tricks or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one where some guy did some insane shit with like McDonald's chicken nuggets, and it was just gross. And
Yep.
like those are less funny than the guys who are really trying to cook. And Gordon's just like it's these videos, like we've watched tons of them. It's like, I was into smoking meat this summer, so I watched tons of these. Like, all right, guys, this is how you do it. And it's these people on YouTube that do this, and they're people who like really think they're crushing it, and then he'll just stop squeezing the meat. You're squeezing the juices out.
Yeah, he just cuts them down to size and really humbles them.
Like that last one, the guy made like a amazing looking short rib and did like it cooked for hours and like did a really good job. And you could tell Gordon Ramsay's impressed, but then the guy just plates up the wrong carrots, and I just love that so much.
That's the one breaking point he had. He was like, "You didn't do the carrots right," so the whole thing is ruined.
Oh, it's so funny. I mean,
when he calls people donuts though, and almost you can go see it on his TikTok and almost every video he calls the people a donut. He's like, "What are you doing, you donut?" And it's just so funny. And especially for us, because you introduced me to Hell's Kitchen and we kind of got on the train and we were really into it. And so hearing him just like crap all over somebody is like the funniest thing.
I could watch those videos all day long. It's just one of those things. It's like when you're laying down in bed, and now my Facebook kind of has caught on to the fact that I like it. So they show me them all the time.
Of course.
So I'll be like, I'll lay down. I'm like, let me scroll through something real quick, and I'll just look at Facebook. And then those will pop up, and I'll watch like 10 of them because they're just so. And I'll end up like gut laughing in my bed, just like.
It is really interesting though, because you can learn a lot. Like, he says it in the video. He's like, "No, lamb's already has fat in it. You don't need to add this and add that." Like, what are you doing?
Tell me about it. I watched 4 different celebrity chefs make scrambled eggs last night.
Oh my god!
Just because I'm on a mission. And
Gordon Ramsay has a very specific way of doing it too.
I know.
I don't know what it is, but he did it
I
on.
do.
Did you saw the Hot Ones episode, right?
I've seen it. His eggs look very good. They just look very British. It's not really what I'm looking for, but like I've seen him do it multiple times. And my favorite part is that he's like, yeah, then you break out your creme fraiche. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me pop into my pantry and bust out my creme fraiche that I keep on hand for just such an occasion. Thanks, Gordon. Let me pluck out my fresh chives from the garden.
He's like, doesn't everyone have these? Like, no, we don't.
No, I don't have creme fraiche. All right, that's going to do it for us because I got to go party with my people, my city.
Thank you guys again for joining us for a very special, scary episode of The Hop, all pumpkin beers. Definitely go check them out. If you just want, there are so many different variations of pumpkin beers. So if you weren't interested in anything we were drinking, go look. Every brewery has their solid pumpkin beer. You can get any kind. Go out there and try it. We really recommend it. 'Tis the season.
Yeah, I hope that we've given you guys an idea of the wide variety of pumpkin beer that's on the market, that it's not just limited to, the shandies that you may have had that you find really repulsive. And if those are your thing, no shade on you. We just didn't get to them on this episode, but there's just really a wide variety out there. So if you're feeling like you want to get festive and you don't know how to do it, this is a great way to do it. Other than that, guys, have a safe, COVID-friendly, masked up, and fun Halloween, and we will see you in November for another round of the Hop.
Go vote!